Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Aviation Sustainability Africa podcast. This is a podcast that explores the implications of socioeconomic sustainability and climate change for the global aviation industry, with particular focus on the African continent. It features interviews with experts from airline, airports, civil aviation authorities, think tanks, tourism bodies, and other organizations with emphasis on ESG. The podcast will help us to gain insights into the latest trends and developments, the challenges and the possible solutions, technological innovations, and the changing mindset towards sustainability in the aviation sector. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to have George Uriesi, who is the Chief Operating Officer of Ibom Air. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you, Tony. Good afternoon.
Great. So we just jump right into the interview. So once again, congratulations on reaching this milestone. What are your thoughts on Ibom Air's journey so far as you celebrate your 5th anniversary?
Well, we can't help but be very excited about hitting the 5-year milestone, which is like 5 seconds in the anticipated lifetime of the airline anyway, and we're just starting. But we're happy to reach 5 years because it hasn't been an easy ride. It has not been an easy ride. You know, when you are putting together, you take a clean sheet of paper and you start to do a business plan for an airline, the things you're envisioning, the things you are designing to do, at that stage, you don't know anything for sure. You don't know whether it will work. You don't know whether you'll eventually get the level of financing that's required. You don't know whether you'll get the kinds of people you require. You don't know if you're going to get the kind of infrastructure that will help you set up. So it's actually a leap of faith as you go into the business. So the way everything has worked has been, it's in Nigeria we'll say nagodo. It has turned out well. You start to gain very quick. The brand starts to gain quick traction. Then COVID comes and hits you, and at some point during COVID, you are maybe we should just dig in and try to navigate this. And you navigate. Luckily, you come out at the other end and you're still alive. You recalibrate your forecast, but voila, everything comes back very quickly. Damn quickly that you're taken by surprise at how much traction the brand has gained already. And then you start to move on, and then you face unprecedented economic roller coaster ride that we've had to face in the last 2 years. We couldn't have imagined. I mean, the business plan always has a worst case scenario, and we are 3 to 4 times behind that worst case scenario. So you have to keep calibrating, recalibrating. And then eventually you realize it's an obstacle course. In this industry in Nigeria, especially the airline, is an obstacle course, and you become an engineer trying to maneuver around obstacles and to keep going. So in general, we're happy that we're here. The business has performed in spite of everything. And we feel like sportsmen. It's a wrestling ring. You are there wrestling all the time, and it's a continuous wrestling bout. So far, so good. Everything is working in spite of everything. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So that takes me to my next question, which is I've already started, talking about them. So, what are some of your biggest challenges that Ibom Air faced, and how have you overcome them? How have you adapted with the changing, structure in the ecosystem? That you have to always, recalibrate. So, what has been your staying power? How have you overcome these challenges that keep hitting you from left, right, center, and you managed to stay up to 5 years?
It has been it's an experience that somehow I would really love people who start up airlines elsewhere in the world to come and experience the real jungle of trying to start an airline and succeed. This is the jungle. Um, Nothing stays the same. You have the escalation of one of your biggest costs being fuel beyond your wildest dreams in a very short time. You have you do your business in naira and you have to pay most of your bills in hard currency in US dollars. At some point, there wasn't even the US dollar. I'm not even talking about the exchange rate at some point. I'm talking about the availability. Even if you had the naira, you couldn't even find it. Not to mention how much you would buy it for if you found it. And it was always a hair's breadth away from defaulting on obligations because you had to. It's been amazing that we've had support from our international partners, our suppliers of spares and parts. We pay sometimes, with the narrowest of margins, not to keep an aircraft AOG for so long because you're struggling to find the dollars to send for one thing or another. Eventually, we were able to build the level of credibility that allows us, they send things to us anyway, knowing that we're struggling and we'll pay when we find the dollars. At the worst of it, it was bad. It was bad. But I can say that now there's a little bit of a breather. You can find the dollars now if you're looking for them, but you still have to have a lot of naira to find them. So the business, we learned some lessons. We learned that, first of all, that you can have a wet lease and it's profitable, contrary to what everybody will tell you. No, it's not. It's profitable as long as all your numbers and your plans are met. But it's only profitable to the extent where the naira collapses completely, and then your worst case scenario doesn't work out, and then you realize, no, 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 this can't work, and no business can work with that kind of collapse. See what everybody's reporting from last year. So we too had to recalibrate again, make some changes. It's we're now every day when we wake up in the morning, we check all the indices. Are they still where they were yesterday? You're having high blood pressure about indices. How much is fuel today? How much the emails come from fuel? A change of price. And you're saying, oh God. Then you look, oh, for the first time in a few months, it's actually gone down by 10 naira. You're very happy, you know. So it's a day-to-day thing, oh my brother. But what keeps us going is that the brand is strong, and therefore, if anything, our problem, thankfully, is capacity. We sell almost 100% of the seats we put in the market every day. On many roads, 104, 105% of the seats we put in the market are bought constant. So, based on that, the brand is strong. It has traction with the flying public. And we're very thankful for that at our 5-year mark. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So, of course, just like you say, you just started, just 5 years, just like 5 seconds, just you're there already. But I must say that there are some, because we often say that you should celebrate your little milestones and achievements. Can you highlight some of your notable achievements in these 5 years since you started operations as an
Oh,
airline?
yes. Apart from the regular things that any airline should do, like become IOSA certified, have being able to order for a fleet of brand new aeroplanes and start to receive the aeroplanes and bring them into service. The fact that one of the things that makes me most proud is all these young people that we've employed in the last 5 years and shortly before the last 5 years, how they've grown A number of them have become station managers. A number of them that were ab initio cabin crew are now pursers. Very young pilots that are now, senior first officers. Uh, yeah, so seeing all these young people whose lives we have impacted by training them into world-class aviation professionals in the various areas. Those are the ones that most make me excited about the 5 years. All these greenhorns that are now managers, and we're trying to build an organization that's capable of running a world-class airline into the future. You first have to have the organization before you have the world-class airline, before you become successful. So one of the things we're doing is building a highly capable, high-performance organization that's capable of running a world-class airline, that has brand new aeroplanes, that has cutting-edge technology, that has an MRO, and all of those things. So a lot of investment is in the training of the people, is in the establishment of the organization that will run a successful airline, and then teaching and coaching everyone to because we will be here for a while, but not forever. And this airline has to be handed over to competent leader, a lasting organization, because that's what it takes to have a successful airline. And so far, so good. It's worked, and we are preparing the organization to operate a modern hub terminal, and we're preparing the organization to have a technical part of the business that runs the MRO. And so there's a lot of things the organization is busy doing to move on from here into the next 5 years. As we continue to receive our aircraft, we're about to pick up the second Airbus A220. We're going next week to pick it up. So there's a lot on our hands at the moment.
Fantastic. I can say that, of course, there have been some milestones of achievement. So that brings me to the next question. When you talked about capacity building and career development of the greenhorns and see how far they've come. So like you to shed more light on how Ibom Air has contributed to the economic development of Akwa Ibom State and the region where it operates from. I mean, capacity building is one of them. If there's other things that you're doing that impact the economy of the region.
Absolutely. The reason why why the airline started in the first place is for the impact on the economy of the region. So the measure of Ibom Air's impact has been in the opening up of Akwa Ibom State. There's a lot of things happening in Akwa Ibom that in the next 3 to 4 years will become felt across the country. One of them is the aviation ecosystem. The decision of the state to invest in an airport, to invest in a massive MRO facility, even before an airline was formed, was, to many people, it was like, what the hell are these people doing all this for? But eventually, the airline became the third leg of the tripod of aviation investments in an ecosystem that the airline is now making work. So the investment in a brand new hub terminal is a result of the airline's input. The MRO is now going to work. A successful airline has to have a sophisticated MRO, and that's what we're doing, and we're working with Airbus to do that quietly. I want to mention that everybody's talking about MRO in the country. It's very easy to talk about. It's very hard to do. We're quietly doing it. We'll do it. We will launch it. It will happen. People will come and maintain their aeroplanes here. But, MRO is easier said than done. We know. But we are doing MRO. We're not talking. When it's finished, people will come and see MRO the way it's supposed to be. So we're doing all those things that are going to create a very efficient and functional aviation ecosystem that feeds into Akwa Ibom and out. So what's happening now? Hotel occupancy in Akwa Ibom is now at 90%, whether there's something happening or not. Now we have the best golf course, so we're marketing to host all the golf tournaments. We have the best stadium, we're marketing, and now have the rights to host all the Super Eagles matches. we have so many different things that are working together to create the capacity to bring people into Akwa Ibom. Last weekend, Super Eagles played a match here with South Africa. There was not one single hotel space in this town, not one. And the impact of this, we had to put the A220 two or three times into Uyo because of the amount of people coming in and going out after the match, before and after the match. I mean, even the pure water seller sold more pure water last week than they will sell in the next 6 months. That's the economic impact that we're talking about. The capacity to bring people in, the capacity for people to come in and go out as they want. So we put 3 flights a day so you can choose when you want to come and when you want to go. And even that's not enough now. So on the one hand, and then of course, Ibom Air, nobody can deny the fact that the brand of Akwa Ibom has been significantly enhanced by the existence of Ibom Air. And our challenge is to continue to weather the storms, continue to deal with the obstacles, and get on the other side of them every time. Jump over them, go around them, but keep going in the direction we're going in. So far, we're thankful. We're thankful. I must mention that we're thankful for the cooperation at federal government level, the minister, the ministry, the NCAA, NAMA, FAN, NEMET, everybody has been very cooperative on this journey. So we're pleased and we thank all of them for that.
That sounds like a thank you message for Ibom Air at 5.
Yes, it
Okay,
is.
so talking about that, one must not fail to understand how Ibom Air is trying to grow the ecosystem. Because it's one thing to just say, I just want to start an airline, and you just start just thinking about how to put bombs on seats without thinking about the ecosystem. And that's what kind of stands Ibom Air apart from other airlines. So talking about partnership and collaboration at the domestic level, and perhaps you're going to talk about maybe you intend to have when we come to your expansion plans, how you tend to partner on the international level. But at the local level, do you have any kind of partnership or collaborations at the local level? That's part one of the question. The second part is, what stands Ibom Airline apart from other airlines in Nigeria and West Africa?
Okay, the first part, we cooperate. We don't even need to establish written down cooperation agreements, really. We cooperate as airlines. We generally cooperate, but we have a very good working relationship with all the partners, with Air Peace, with ValueJet, with United Nigeria, with our big brothers Arik and Aero. Whenever we need to cooperate, we do. We reprotect passengers between us very, very easily, without any kind of alliances. Now, standing apart as Ibom Air, I do not want to say that we stand apart. What I want to say is that we do our best to provide a world-class service, which is what we are geared towards providing. I have always said, and I will keep saying, that all of us are not scheduled carriers. We're all wannabe scheduled carriers. You will not be a scheduled carrier until you have a certain number of aircraft where you have sufficient redundancy to be able to keep your schedule going when you have aircraft that are AOG. For a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 aircraft carrier, airline, every time you have a snag on an aircraft, your schedule is impacted upon. And so schedule reliability is a very difficult subject because you can't keep one aircraft down when you have 7 or when you have 6. You have to max them. You can do some redundancy, but not much. You start to be able to have redundancy when you're getting to 10, 11, 12 airplanes and all that. So the key for us is maintenance. And we're very lucky in that sense that we have an efficient fleet. We have a reasonably good storage of spares and parts to keep our aircraft flying all the time. So somehow we're able to weather the storms of schedule reliability, which is one of our key factors, to allow us to have on-time performance. Um, if Nigeria wasn't what it was, and if things were not as difficult as they are, for instance, you have a problem on an aircraft, our counterpart in Europe or America would fix it in 2 hours. We have to go and get a part from Canada or Miami or, and have it flown overnight. Everything to get that part into the country. Then you have to deal with customs when it comes in. Then you have to clear it and then bring it and then fix. 2 days will pass. Your aeroplane will be on ground. Your schedule will be disrupted. So no matter how hard you try, just being Nigeria, just being, just having the difficulties of putting all these things together very quickly, because every day there's an issue. No matter how much you have in your way, we keep up to $3 million worth of spares and parts in our store. But those things are recycled every time we use them. But most of the time, something comes from elsewhere. We did this deliberately because of schedule reliability, so we can respond quickly to issues. But nevertheless, you still always have to order for the barest minimum of stuff. They will find it in Miami. They'll find it in Houston. It will take a long time to get it to Nigeria. Then you come, somebody will hold it somewhere. You have to go and beg the person, and But you can't pull your hair out anymore. You just carry on doing what you have to do to keep operating as reliably as you can. And our aim is to grow the fleet as quickly as possible to the point where I can call us a relatively stable, scheduled carrier. Right now, we all want to be.
Thank you very much. As we try to round up because of time, what is the next, your next 5-year plan going on from here?
The next 5 years is full of ambitious endeavors for us. One, we will begin to operate Nigeria's first hub terminal and begin to hub in from Nigeria out and from outside in and from outside into Nigeria and outside again. So international to international, domestic to international, and international to domestic. That's a whole new level of play. We're busy practicing for that right now. We will have our MRO, Ibom Technical. We're also preparing for that now because it's going on right now in the background. So we'll be operating an MRO. We'll be operating a hub terminal. We'll have a hub going out of Uyo. We're going to be receiving a number of new aeroplanes and bringing them into service. So the airline will become a lot more active in the next 5-year period. And the Akwa Ibom aviation ecosystem would have positioned just naturally, but it's been a lot of hard work in the background. The support of the shareholder is immense because it's the shareholder who's doing the investments in the MRO and in the hub terminal to allow the airline and the ecosystem to thrive. We're already talking with people who are investing in fuel facilities, in catering facilities, and the thing is taking shape, and it's just based on a rollout of a plan that hopefully continues to materialize over the next few years. There are challenges, though. It's not easy. Don't even think that it's easy. Every day we're dealing with one threatening challenge or another. But we've managed to stay the course, and I think, barring any unforeseen circumstance, we will continue to thrive.
Thank you. I have just 2 more questions for you. I mean, regardless of how challenging it has been, I'm sure
I thought
that
you were saying that was the last question before.
no, we have
Okay, go
one
ahead.
more.
Okay.
So tell me, how does Ibom Air engage with the local community, and what corporate social responsibility initiatives has been undertaken? Because I know you guys try to give back, even regardless of how tough it is, because as an organization, you must have some CSR initiatives. Can you share one or two that you're undertaking?
Yes. When we started, we said that one of our key focus areas would be giving back to the community. But we agreed with our board that we would not make noise. We would do things quietly, not to show that we are doing them, but to have an impact in doing them. But recently, though, we took a signature CSR. What do you call it now? Our key CSR thrust. We decided to join the fight against malaria in pregnant women and children. So we call it FAMPACT, Fight Against Malaria in Pregnant Women and Children today. And in so doing, we've put our money where our mouth is, because it was brought to our attention the statistics of the devastating effect of malaria on pregnant women and children below the age of 5. And we said, oh, great, maybe this is where we should really focus our efforts and do something tangible to make a difference in it. Because we've always been focused on children. So we adopted a couple of, not a couple, a few orphanages that we've continued to support. We go and spend time. In fact, we have regular periods when our staff and our management go and spend the Saturday, for instance, just with them in the orphanage, trying to play with the kids, apart from the fact that we provide them with a lot of things. But this time we decided, okay, let's take this signature project, Farm Pact, and with it we're providing treatment, we're providing prevention, we're providing awareness and information around how pregnant women and children under the age of 5 can be further protected from malaria, from getting it in the first place, but when they get it, treatment when they have it so that they get well. It's devastating if you find out the statistics on malaria's effect on pregnant women and children under 5 in Nigeria. It kills a lot of them. It's unbelievable. And this is 2024. So that's one of the things that we're doing. Thank you.
Fantastic. It's great to know, because that's to also help some other organization in the aviation ecosystem, because there's need to give back. It's good to highlight these things so that we're not all about just making profit, and we don't have initiatives to give back to community where we operate and the larger industry as a whole. My last question. So at Aviators Africa, we are positioned in a place where we are very forward and future thinking. Where airlines are right now in Nigeria and the greater of Africa is looking at their bottom line and economic sustainability. But we at Aviators Africa, we're also looking at, amongst all that economic sustainability and try to make money, how are you environmentally sustainable as well? Because we cannot take ourselves away from the climate change and the fossil fuel and the effect that our airlines, how impact the environment. So I'll bring it back to Ibom Air. What are your environmental sustainability initiatives, if you have? If you don't have, what plans do you have to have such a framework for a young airline as yours to incorporate it, because you want to be a global airline, and we cannot remove ourselves from how we are thinking about the environment that we are impacting on negatively with our fossil fuels? Please go ahead.
Absolutely. We just about a month ago had expert consultants come and talk to the management about ESG as we prepare ourselves to start reporting on ESG. We have just finished our 5th external audit from PricewaterhouseCoopers. So, but in this audit report, we're not reporting on ESG, but from next year's annual report, we will start to report on ESG. So we've put together, the first thing was to come and do an in-depth information of management on all the elements of ESG for an airline. One of the things that informed us investing in the Airbus A220 brand new was also an awareness of the environmental impact, of the efficiencies we get, one, but two, the reduction of our carbon footprint as an airline, which will probably be the best in the country when the fleet is up and running, and in line with the rest of the top-notch airlines in the world, because the fleet is new and is highly fuel efficient and all of that. So we will probably, I do not know that there's any other airline in the country that does external audits by PricewaterhouseCoopers and has annual reports for 5 straight years. In the annual report of 2024, when it comes out in 25, it will have a whole section on ESG. And we're going to continue to be part of that ecosystem of high-level environmental awareness that drives our company. So we've started it, and I'm happy to say that it was a big eye-opener a month ago when they came to do the presentation to management, what the most modern airlines think of and are doing, and how we too can begin to deal with all of those elements in how we operate. So we believe it is part of what will make our company successful, and therefore we have embraced it with 2 hands. Yeah.
Thank you very much. In ending, you're looking at, reporting ESG and embracing it with 2 hands, which is very glad to hear, because most people think it's at an expense when you talk about environmental sustainability, but actually it actually helps you in efficiency in running your airline affairs efficiently. And I'm happy that Ibom Air leading the way, and I'm hoping that other people in the ecosystem or in the aviation industry, especially in Africa, can also see that it's not only bottom line we are bleeding. Look at how to incorporate this environmental sustainability into their framework and work more efficiently. Thank you very much for your time. This is wishing you a happy anniversary and many more five more years to come, and we'll be sure to follow you in your journey. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your day.
And thank you for all the work you're doing in the industry. Well done.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.